So we're at this event space. Right now we're setting up for the event. The event is called Tears and Tea. Stay tuned so you can see what this event is about. But we're gonna take you guys throughout the whole day and setting up for this event up until the event and after the event, you know? So you'll enjoy this whole process with us. So we've been setting up, so let's go upstairs and see what the vibes look like. Shawty! Hey! Hi. Hi. What we doing today?
We're setting up for Tears and Tea open mic.
Guys, look at this place, man. This place is freaking amazing. It's amazing. Look at the artwork. We're gonna get into this as the day goes on, but we're setting up right now. There's gonna be people doing poetry and stuff over here, and we setting up, so you get to tune in to see how the vibes is. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have food, all this stuff, you know. If you're watching this and you in the Connecticut area, you're gonna miss this one by the time you see this video, but you know what I'm saying? Pull up to the next one. Stay tuned, you know what I'm saying? So right here, you know, we got Shawty getting all the teacups together. These are the teacups that are specifically geared to the Tears and Tea brand, the Tears and Tea events. There's approximately 22 of them. So this is her just, you know, getting the cups ready and getting ready to start, you know, steaming up that tea, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Guys, don't make fun of me. I am not a keyboard player. But this keyboard is so fucking good, yeah. Oh yeah. Cause I couldn't help myself. Like, look at this keyboard. Like, this is, come on now. This is not just here for the aesthetic, you know? For some people might just think it's just here, you know? But like, why not play it? Yo, look at, look at this thing right here. What in the world? This is some creative joint right here. And this piece. Wow. Yeah. I'm putting that in the video.
Don't put the movie credits.
And I'm putting you saying that in the video. I'm recording your ass. Alright, so what we doing now, Shawty?
We are going to the grocery store to get some food, to get some nummies.
Okay. Alright, people.
I was just about to start talking shit. I saw the camera.
We out here now, content creators now. We outside. We about to start talking shit.
So we're in Ions right now, you know, it's only natural.
We getting some stuff.
Strawberries.
We're in this store, you know, Ions. Everything is natural in here, which means it's super expensive. Expensive in here.
Those are the chips that I got.
So,
And that's it. I'm not gonna get any other ones.
popcorn, tortilla. Doing salsa.
We're doing salsa?
We doing salsa? Remember, this is not just for you to eat.
I could only ever find these in Florida at Rolling Oats. I've never seen these up here.
Well, here we go.
I think I'm gonna have to get it. Open up. Open it up.
Ooh. Nah, I'm saying, shawty. Where we at with it?
Where we at with it? We about to go to another location
Okay.
for the rest of the stuff.
Y'all gonna let me get in here? Thank you. Thank you very much. These niggas is not nice, yo.
How do you like driving in Middletown?
Middletown is fucking in between.
It's in between.
Good and bad. That's why it's called Middletown. It's alright. It's alright. Nothing beats, like, nothing is worse than fucking driving in New York. So that's what I always remind myself when I'm out here. Nothing's worse than fucking New York City, where niggas clearly don't care about their life. You may be driving out here.
Beautiful day outside. It's beautiful, but it's cold.
Yeah, don't
get it
let
fucked
this
up.
shit fool you. You see the birds and shit? Don't let this shit fool you. Like, this shit is cold. It's cold out here. It's definitely giving a good 40 degrees, you know, and that's cold. But the sun is out, so it's kind of,
it's beautiful.
you know, it's beautiful out there. You know what I'm saying? All right, we at Stop and Shop. We got a few more things to get, and we heading back to the event space. Finish getting everything together, you know what I'm saying? What up? Right here, we back from the store, and you know, we just set up all the little things we got. We got crackers, we got chips, we got all the different dips, we got some fruit, we got a whole bunch of, you know, different, what's they call them? Refreshments, you know, for the people coming in. Yeah. See, we all dressed and fit is fitting, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man.
Fit is fitting, feel me? Fit is fitting.
You know what
Fit
I'm
is
saying?
fitting.
Outside.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey.
We're here with.
I'm Saul.
My name's Coco. And they're here to film a short film.
Yeah.
Like a student
Short film, yes.
short film documentary. What is it about?
It's about CNTR and Kerry and all the work she's done to create this space for the community, and so we're excited to be with you guys today. And thanks for having us. This is so
Oh, of course. Yay! It's about that time for the event to start, and you know, we're directing some people to come in You already know.
So hi. Thank you guys for coming and being patient. I'm trying to move it. Okay. I need my cheat sheets. So I know what to say. I know the order to say it. Thank you. Okay. We're gonna start. Before I tell you guys about the event and get into it, I have tea prepared. This is Tears and Tea, and I created this event in really because I'm a crybaby, and I wanted like a safe space to be able to cry and share my feelings and my emotions and be able to share that with other people as well. And then, you know, I love tea. I think it's an important grounding element when it comes to releasing your emotions and being able to really, you know, honor that release instead of restricting yourself from feeling so much. Yeah, okay, so a little bit about me. Everybody here knows me, but I am unique and I am a full spectrum doula. I cover birth, everything from birth to end of life care, and I'm also a writer and a curator of this event space. And yeah, I am going to start handing out teas, I think. If you guys want to come up and like put your own like lemon and honey and stuff in it, cool. But if you just like want just a cup of tea, you can stay seated. But yeah, I'm gonna go do that. Okay?
Feel free, anything. Right?
Okay. I would like to start off just talking a little bit about just tears, talking a little bit about the importance of how important my emotions have been to me, how dire they have been in my everyday life. I feel like I'm somebody who has had a wide range of emotions, and growing up in a family that didn't really know how to deal with those wide ranges of emotions, I had to restrict a lot of them. And that is another reason why tears are very important to me, because they have been kind of silenced for a long time. And I had to really reconnect with that part of myself. And a big part of that reconnection and the entire premise of Tears and Tea, it was inspired by my mother. She passed away 2 years ago, and she really helped me understand the importance of not only expressing myself, but being held in that and not feeling like I had to hold anything back. I feel like when people have wide emotions, they feel like they have to kind of simmer themselves down or kind of sugarcoat themselves. And I think it's important that we have a safe space to be able to share all of these emotions. Sometimes it takes, your mother passing for that to happen, for you to really understand. Sometimes it takes a pet passing away. Sometimes, it takes a friendship loss. But ultimately, I think that it's important that we honor our tears and we honor the ebbs and flows of our emotions. Inspired by the very vast emotions that I felt after my mother passed away. I was angry and sad, but also really happy, because as soon as she passed away, I got so much money, and I kind of felt like she did that. So just a lot of emotions, and just feeling really confused about it. But I think anger was the biggest thing that sat in my body. It was the biggest thing that affected my body as well. It took a long time, and it's still, I just broke down the other day, I don't think that this is something that you ever really recover from. I just think that as life goes on, there's more beautiful things that add to your life. So it's never less sad, but there's just more happy. And this poem is called Becoming the Spotlight. The sun has set on our evening. A large applause shakes me out of my skin. The credits are rolling. And there are people wiping off popcorn from their lap as they make their exit. The lights are dimming. The space now fills with quiet murmurs from what's left of the audience. I reach for your hand to take a bow. And notice you have left the show early. A sense of betrayal and dread wash over me. Why would you leave without telling me? But then I recall you did tell me. A few months earlier, you joked about this being our last performance. You told me I'd have to take it from here, that my days on stage weren't done yet. But you laughed about it, so the panic washed away with your reassuring smile, and we continue our dance. And I forget all about your silly little joke for a while. I think you thought you were protecting me by keeping the severity of your departure away from me. But the abruptness of your absence has torn a hole in my heart. I might have to spend the rest of my 9 lives mending it, and where do I start? With laughs and love and hugs and filling my stomach with all of the foods you loved. With your favorite songs you sung. I stand on stage alone for the first time. The quiet murmurs are silenced. The smell of sugar and popcorn have switched to the scent of salt water. I didn't know I could smell my own tears. I didn't know dancing alone would throw me off balance after all these years. You have no understudy, no replacement that can fill your shoes. No one knows your lines the way you do. So the steps I take now are much more intentional, but they are more mine than ever before. It's funny how much of a sense of self I got back when you left. It's like you poured every ounce of me back into me with your last breath. I have always been the family's outcast. When you were gone, here come the stares, the calls, the texts, so overwhelming, so fictitious. I would always say I'd go back to being ignored by the world if I could have you back. But your transition was sovereign, chosen by you, self-led. You understood the weight of dying slowly and instead went out with a bang, ignored the doctor's orders and lied to family and friends. You didn't like being told what to do, and you damn sure weren't going to be told how to die. You were deliberate with this last fight. I'm honored to see the beauty you left behind. There are pieces of you everywhere throughout my life. You have been moving mountains for me all this time. You have not left me on stage alone. You have become my spotlight. You have shown me what it means to truly shine, so thank you for your wonderful performance. Until next time. There's tissues right there, honey. Yeah, that poem is a doozy. It took me a lot of tries to recite that without crying, and I did it, so that's cool. I wouldn't have mind crying, it was all right.
We did it for you.
I know. She did start it. So yeah, I don't know how many people want to perform tonight. I do have multiple poems. I'm gonna just be doing that one right now. But I do want to welcome the next performer, my lovey, my dear friend. Are you prepared? Do you need to go? You put your name as the first. I know. You should have just put fifth or something.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I definitely shed some tears already listening to your poem, Unique. I've heard it before, and it'll continue to make me cry. But happy to be here. Beautiful space and everything. I have this little book that I kind of write, and I used to journal a lot, and it was a lot of it kind of figure out what I was thinking, what I was feeling, and then this one I was like, all right, let me try to make art, do something with it, you know. So this one I'm gonna read is actually a letter, and there was a part of my life when I was trying to get to know myself, and I was like, kind of asking myself, like, what's your name? Like, how do I refer to you? Because I'm Morgan, by the way. And I was trying to like talk to my inner self, and I'm like, who am I talking to, you know? And as I was driving, asking that question, I drove by a hot dog stand that said Scotty's, and my sister calls me Scotty because she wanted to name me Scotty Pippen when I was in the room, and she still called me Scotty, so it kind of made me cry. I was like, okay, I'll just refer to you as Scotty for now. So for a while, my journals were like, Dear Scotty, and this one's the Scotty here. Probably one of my first ones, let's see. So Scotty, thank you for always being there for me. I know I haven't been the best listener, but thank you for staying by my side, never giving up on me, and for catching me every time I fell. You're always right, and I'm always stubborn. But thank you for fighting me, for trying to show me, and always reminding me. There are times I'm not even aware of that you've saved my life, and you continue to do so. I'll never thank you enough. I don't know if I can even ask for forgiveness, or if I ever will, or if you ever will. But I try each day to learn from you, to hear your voice without words, and to take the steps forward. Getting to know you has been beautiful, fun, and exciting. Earning your respect, trust, and love is my goal, and I hope to achieve it so we can co-create the experiences we've always dreamed of. Thank you for your dreams, your messages, and your love. And suddenly, because I was like feeling as I was writing, and suddenly I feel you, I hear you. You've always loved me, seen me, understood me, accepted me, and forgave me. And still, I'll ask for your forgiveness again and again and again until I feel each bit of sorrow dissipate from my being. You've always been so strong, so beautiful, and so true. I look back and I see you. I felt you, and I stood up for you. I'm sorry for the times confusion clouded me. I'm sorry for the times my external world took me away from you. I'm sorry for the times I disrespected you. I'm sorry for the times I silenced you. I'm sorry for the times I blamed you. And I'm sorry for the times I didn't listen. I'm sorry to me for each of these moments. I created my own suffering and then asked for help or complained. How silly you must have thought of me. I finally know that I am my own creator. I finally understand that only I am to claim responsibility for my suffering. I blame no one. I'm empowered as me. I am my own creator, not the creator, but my own. In getting to know you, I can co-create with my external world with thee. I trust your dreams. I trust you and thee, knowing what's best. Scotty, I beg my mind to rest, to trust, and to simply enjoy with gratitude. May I live heart-centered with respect and love. Gratitude is my favorite type of attitude.
I forgot to tell y'all so much stuff. I'm all over the place. This is a film crew. They are doing a short, student film documentary about the Space Center, and the different events that they had here. So they are filming, they are taking some pictures. If you don't want to be in the film, just let me know, and they'll cut it out. But it's like an 8-minute film, so it's not anything crazy.
But let us know, we're happy to accommodate, and also it'll be mostly just sort of, it'll not too much on one person, so it's not like But I'm Saul, I'm the junior Wesley. This is Coco, who's running audio for me, and we're just here to appreciate the space with all of you. And thank you for having us and for your trust.
I am going to welcome up my lover to do a poem.
Some of the substance of what you're really trying to say, so.
What's your name?
My name is Prince. Everybody here know me as Prince. My artist name is Musa Omari. And this is Tears and Tea. This is great. I'm happy to see the turnout. I'm going to. Energy. Energy, energy, energy. Energy lives and never dies. If that's so, does it mean that our energy can't be shifted, for real, shifting into a positive one that promotes clarity and not confusion? They say assumptions make a fool out of us, but your emotions can make a fool out of you. See, I've been there, but never did that, so it doesn't make sense to match that energy. The knots aren't tying. I know common sense isn't common, but I can sense this common behavior, feeling like the world owes you favors. But this life has many flavors, so don't feel the need to settle. Your energy isn't settling to the frame of thought that one is in. Is the picture clear?
It's like your ego has you blind to gratitude, closing your eyes to your draining attitude. While looking beneath me to search for something that isn't there, I'm aware of the fact that we all need someone to blame. So you can feel good about the way you carry yourself. As your flame goes out, you try to outmine. You would rather be cold-hearted. See, I'm like the olive that's used to make oil for this lamp. The more I'm squeezed, the purer I get. I'm not one you can step on like the soles of your feet. You can't take steps in these shoes because I've walked through doors of life that many can only see from outside and still can't look in. That energy multiplies and can affect a whole multitude of people. See, we are all reflections, so reflect on your own flaws. They see you in person, but you only see yourself through the mirror. The glass gets dirty, but it's cleaner on the other side, as some may say. So you don't throw stones if your house is made out of glass. See, energy lives forever. Doesn't mean that your energy needs to live here.
All right, this is called Heard So It Goes. Is it the lazy? Is it the age? Is it the loss of love? Is it the pain? Lost my dog and I ain't visit the grave. They taking everything till nothing remains. Ain't that I ain't brave, no use in complaining. Everybody out here just maintaining. Down bad folk want you to feel their anguish till one day they speaking your language. Eating at your soul, I don't want to be famous. Watching for my shoulder, most niggas is dangerous. Most these out here act flagrant. Heard so it goes, I'm chasing the paper. Only Lord knows that I'm one of your favorites. Got it on my own and I don't owe no favors. Still 10 toes, but I can float on the pavement. Who'd have thought can it be one of the greatest? Hey. Oh, thank you.
This poem is also touchy-feely. This poem is about my dad. Just to give you guys some, what's the word?
Perspective.
Balance. Balance. My relationship with my father has also brought on many tears. He is still here. And I think that as strenuous and as painful our relationship has been, it's also been the most teachable relationship of my life, in the best ways as well. Allowing myself to learn what I want to be treated like, what I deserve, what I don't deserve as well. So this poem is called I Am Still Alive, Even If You Missed It. As I return from my long stay down south, David says he wants to talk. Reluctant to be here, back in Four Seasons, not necessarily on my father's floors, but every step I took reminds me of my suitcase packed and tears being swallowed and an ignored message on my phone as I begged him for a place to sleep. To be saved from a relationship that was slowly draining me, I try not to be bitter. I mean, he is starting a new family. I stepped into this conversation unarmed, having done so much inner work that I didn't walk around fearing possible harm. I don't expect much from the man. Only to be bombarded with questions and demands, he asks me, what am I doing with my life? his face filled with disappointment and wonder, as if he raised me to know that answer, as if he raised me to know anything other than neglect, violence, and danger, as if he raised me at all. He asked me, when am I having children, so he can make up for lost time, as if I am not still alive. My father was in and out of prison my entire childhood life. Finally released when I was 18, he not only sacrificed his freedom, but he shattered our time. And even after he showed me that drugs were more important, I chose to forgive him, not for his peace, but for mine. In that very mercy, I found a real place of admiration for him buried underneath the nothingness he has given me. I grew to love him not for what he has done as a father, but simply for getting me here. That was enough. Yes, I have been in and out of institutions, and yes, I have chosen drugs over loved ones, and yes, I have avoided my emotions because everyone else had. I am assuming that's why he does. But no, I don't continue cycles that I was thrown into unconsciously. And no, I don't convince myself that people don't love me because they are struggling. And no, I don't pretend to have all the answers. So when you ask me, what am I doing with my life? What have you shown me? You have shown me that being desperate for affection is the only way to keep a man, and that almost got me killed. You have shown me that hiding my feelings for the sake of peace is the right way to keep a family, and in that department, I was very unfulfilled. You have convinced me that I am merely an afterthought, not worthy of any affection, and yet I love, still. What I do know is I am excavating opinions and ideas on who I am that are not mine. I know I am rewiring my brain so I can truly, finally live my life. I know all of this heals with time. So in the meantime, instead of asking what I am doing with my life when you've done so little to make sure it's a good one, ask how you can help. So you won't have to ask anymore, you'll see it blossom. Thank you. Speaking of others, I am doing another Tears and Tea event. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of the Manhood Tree, located in Hartford, Connecticut, but they have like these programs and different workshops, writing workshops, and there's a writing workshop called the Fatherhood Monologues, and essentially it's just a bunch of people and they talk about their daddy issues. And something that I've learned about daddy issues is that they can happen with a good father as well. I recently went to one of their events and a few women were talking about how they developed daddy issues because their father gave them everything that they wanted. And so there was no man who could ever live up to that expectation, because if my daddy did it, then you should too, which isn't really rational. You know, that's your father. You know, if he happens to be an amazing man and he supports you, that's amazing. But to kind of compare your partner to your father is very unfair. And so I was just astounded by the comparison that they were able to do. I didn't know you could have daddy issues and have a good father, so that was pretty cool to learn. But yeah, I'm hosting that with a what is he? I'm not sure what he is. He's a man. But his name is Abdul, and he runs the Manhood Tree, and he's been amazing. So if you guys want to learn more about that, I have a sign-up sheet too that you guys can put your Instagrams and your emails to get more event dates and things like that to kind of stay up to date. And yeah, I want to pass the mic to my lover, and I want him to talk about his relationship with his tears.
Oh, me?
You feel comfortable with that?
So my relationship relationship with my tears are very, very interesting. So, growing up, so I grew up in Jamaica, and in the culture, crying kind of just, crying is pretty much a thing that like never happens, but happens on the inside, right? So although, you know, we're used to saying, oh, someone's crying, you see them physically crying, you see physical tears. A lot of the time, in my culture and growing up, I did a lot of crying on the inside, right? Because of the surrounding makes it to where it's almost like, it's almost impossible, you know, it's kind of like not really looked at. So in the culture, it's like the love and how people express their love for others is like a little bit different. So like, it wasn't until I moved to America where I realized like parents and like, you know, loved ones actually hugged each other and kissed and said, I love you, but like, not like my mom or my parents didn't love me per se. The way of how they went about expressing it is completely different, you know? So it was very interesting to see. I would be at a friend's house and stuff, and like they would be, you know, their mom would come home and be like, oh, honey, what do you want for dinner and stuff? Like, oh, I'm here and whatever. And then they'll be like, oh, I love you, or they'll be leaving and they'll share I love yous and like give a hug and like a little kiss on the cheek. And I'm like, whoa, like that, like never happens. And I'm like, wait, you know, my parents, you know, they love me dearly. So that transitioned into like this, you know, this idea to where people are like, someone would pass away and people are like, I don't see you physically crying. So like my cousins would make a joke and say, maybe you ran out of tears, like you're, you know, like there's no physical tears coming because you might have ran out of it. And I'm like, no, it's a thing to where sometimes my tears are embedded inside myself, to where it kind of becomes beyond my physical body. So it's like always interesting when I think about crying outwardly. A lot of the cries end up happening on the inside for me. So, you know, just to give a different perspective of tears.
Yeah, I feel like we all can kind of relate to that. Probably not all, but a lot of us can relate to wanting to cry. You know, there's kind of like that feeling in your throat, the back of your throat, and it's kind of like something's like just yeah, you know, yeah. Kind of just like forcing them to be held back, and it's so very interesting. Just the concept of crying and tears in general and how it's related to weakness is very interesting to me, because I feel like it's kind of easy to hold back tears, you know, unless you're absolutely devastated in a certain sense. But I think it shows so much strength to be able to cry, not only to yourselves, but to people, to be vulnerable in front of other people, vulnerable in front of your loved ones, vulnerable in front of people that you don't know, that you'll never see again. And sitting in that power, I think for me, my tears will always be a source of strength. I think they'll always be a source of rejuvenation for myself. I don't ever see myself wanting to hold back tears, but I guess like there's still like a conditioning of like, I don't even really know what it comes from. And I can't really pinpoint where it came from, but I do know there is sometimes, like even when I just did my poem, the tears swelled. And this is obviously a safe space to cry. I've cried over that poem many times. I think when you're also in a position to hold other people, you automatically want to kind of put your feelings aside. You want to put your emotions aside so that you can carry other people, so that you can be able to get through your day. I don't know about you guys, but am like mid-functioning human, you know, especially when I'm going through like emotional stuff. I cannot get through my day, you know, and that's like, it's like real. It's a real struggle. I'm getting better with it, but my capacity has been so limited by my very isolated view of the world. And I think doing things like this, because I'm super uncomfortable. Nobody wants to do a poem or come up here and I have to just talk to y'all, you know? And like, I'm cool to do it, and I love the practice, and like most of y'all are loved ones, you know? So like, I'm very grateful for you guys to be here and allow me to be able to speak. But this is super uncomfortable. And I feel like I've been in the era of doing uncomfortable things. Because it helps, like it really, really does. It breaks something in you that needs to be broken. It breaks like a sense of stagnancy inside of yourself that needs to kind of be released and allow yourself to flow. And sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about and I'll just talk. And sometimes I do know what I'm talking about and it doesn't match my thoughts or my words. And then I'll cry. But yeah, thank you for letting me just ramble. Come here and just let me ramble. Another side note, another thing I forgot to mention. I have over at that back table, I'm working on a community authored book that I'm going to be publishing. There are different sections within the book, and each section is its own theme. The book is called Written by Us, and essentially it's to help my community, help my loved ones, and help anybody kind of recognize that we are all connected. I feel like a lot of people kind of, you know, love to say, you have no idea what I'm going through. And there's somebody in this world that does know exactly what you're going through. And this book is really to kind of just help people realize that and help us stay connected. And so the theme that I brought today is tears. And I just want to get people's stories. I just want to get people's relationship with their tears. I want to understand, you know, the times where you've cried because you were sad or because you were happy. Just the things that remind you to cry. So, if you would like to write in it, I would love it if you can. There's some pens and stuff over there on the table. You can sign your name, or you can remain anonymous, completely up to you. Or you can write in it and you can tell me not to publish it. You can write do not publish, and I won't, but you can just keep it there for me to read. And I would love that. Yeah, so, yes?
I have a question.
Yes.
Would it be possible for you to talk more about what it means when you say that tears would be relieving? I've been having a headache and I'm tired and mad. And I heard you say that they're rejuvenating. I've always been so curious how maybe you get there, maybe they float you somewhere and they bring you rejuvenation, or just like what's that experience like?
Yeah, of course. So I feel like it definitely worked up to a place of rejuvenation. When I say rejuvenation, I mean I end up feeling lighter after the cry. I end up feeling better after the cry. I don't feel worse. And what I think happens when you feel worse after a cry is not that you cried for the wrong reasons, but your body didn't recognize what you were actually releasing. So when we cry, obviously it's a release. We're releasing water, right? But it's also like a deeply spiritual and emotional release as well. And I think when we're able to recognize what emotional event or situation took place for us to be able to get to that point, we can kind of alchemize our tears. So we can have them work for our benefit rather than hurting us. And this was something that I learned recently as well. After my mom passed away, I was shortly diagnosed with Graves' disease. because I had no idea how to contain my health, how to contain my emotions. I stressed myself out every single day. And it got to a point where when I would cry, my entire chest would be in just so much pain, so much agony. I got to a point where I had to numb myself because I was scared to cry, because I didn't want to be in pain anymore. It wasn't rejuvenating for a long time. But I think that it wasn't rejuvenating because I wasn't involved in like other forms of healing outside of that. I was just crying for the same thing and I wasn't getting any insight from it. You know, I'm crying because my mother is gone. Okay. But that kept happening every day. She's not coming back. So like what's being fixed here? On top of that is, I cannot stress this enough. Your environment is so important. The people you keep around you are so important to your spiritual, mental, emotional, physical health. I was not surrounded by a good support team. I was not surrounded by people who aided in healing, who aided in health, within myself or within themselves either. They didn't take care of themselves mentally, emotionally, as well, so that kind of trickles into, you know, the people that you're around, especially when you live with them. You can kind of get, you know, their baggage. You can kind of get their unhealed trauma. Especially for me, I have poor boundaries. Like, I've always struggled with boundaries, with, you know, just letting myself be an individual and not merging with every person that's around me. I have learned that the hard way, you know? But I think that the more you are not just relying on tears, and not just relying on yourself to release, you know, we have to have other ways of releasing the stagnant energy, and we have to have help. We like really need, all of us need help. I don't care what you say, I'm independent, I can do this, I don't need no friends. You're fucking lying. Everybody needs people. Everybody needs loved ones. Everybody needs a support team. Everybody. Every single person on this planet. I don't care who you are. There's not a billion people on earth for no reason. For people to just be by themselves. You know? Yeah. So I think a strong support team, you know, is one of the best things that helped me. People who allowed me to cry. You know, people who cried for me. You know, I've had people, you've cried for me many times, you know. People who can share that space with you is deeply important, and that also aided in my findings of rejuvenation when it came to tears. So yeah, thank you. Does anybody else have anything? Does anybody would like to have a question or a comment? What's up, Kenny?
You say your view on the world. What's your view on the world? You talking about the view on the world. Like, what's your view?
What do you mean, my view on the world?
Like you said, you have a kind of an isolated view on the world.
Yeah. I used to, yeah. I have found myself in a lot of isolated situations growing up. From as a child, you know, I grew up from my entire adolescence I spent in mental institutions, raised by doctors, you know, so that's pretty isolated. You come out and, you know, society is very different than what it is in a hospital. You know, we don't run by the same rules and regulations that people in like public school do. So that affected my views on society tremendously, because in the psychiatric setting, you are just focused on talking about you. You are focused on your own inner healing. on top of that with other people around, and I think it really clouded my senses on how to connect with others. Being able to have difficult conversations with people and still stand firm. It took a long time for me to be able to do that, and India, you assisted me in that, and I hold that that situation in my heart to this day. I didn't know how people maneuvered. You know, I didn't understand social cues. I didn't understand, like I said, boundaries. It was just really, really hard for me to be around regular people because I was always in therapy. I was always talking to a clinician. I was always talking to a doctor. I was always on some type of medication, you know? And then getting out of that setting, when I reached adulthood, you know, because of my lack of, and I also didn't have a good family. You know, I didn't have a close support system, blood relatives that supported me through my emotions and the things that I was going through. And so I kind of went out into the world with that same isolated mindset, was that because I think I'm a good person, the world is good. And that allowed me to attract a lot of people who kept me in that isolated mindset. So the cycle kind of continued. I was in relationships with people who did not want me. I would not be able to do this. You know, I wouldn't be able to talk to people. I wouldn't be able to leave my home. I wouldn't be able to build communities, to have friends, to talk to family, you know? So that also kept me very isolated. And to kind of touch back on what I was saying about India, the minute that I experienced, felt, heard some type of resistance or disagreement in any type of relationship, friendship, family, romantic partner, teacher, I would run. I would leave the relationship, I would drop anybody, because it was easy. You know, I could always make another friend, you know? And I didn't really understand that you can be mad at somebody and still love them, you know? And I remember I had her India, and I stopped talking to her, and I ended up seeing her a few months later, and I just walked up to her like nothing. I was like, hey, how you doing? Tried to hug her, she hugged me, but she verbally expressed that she was upset with me and disappointed in me, and I'm like, why, you know? And she's like, because you hurt me. And she said, you hurt me, but I still love you. And I was like, what? For real? Like, you still love, I hurt you and you still love me? And that shit fucking blew my mind. I was like, whoa, wow, you still love me. So I have since then broken out of the isolated ideas of what I think this world is, feeling that I need to do things by myself, figure out the world by myself, figure out myself by myself. I think we're all mirrors, and I think we help each other figure ourselves out. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
No.
Okay. No.
Anybody want to share? That's so much extra.
Okay. Does anybody else have a question? Or does anybody else want to do a poem? No?
I'll do one.
Amen! Yay! Do you want to stand or you want to?
I'll sit.
You'll sit with the mic.
Yeah. Hey, hi everybody. My name's Eamon. E-A-M-O-N. It's an Irish name. which is why it's spelled like that. And this poem is about a girl that I met when I lived in Morocco. And funnily, my name actually sounds very similar in Arabic. So there's an Arabic name, Ayman. So sometimes I also go by that name. And the poem is titled Soup. Shnu khali tiktib alayya, what will you write about me? You asked me in the darkness of my apartment as my lips found yours. I felt you searching for the warmth inside me, searching for love. And I felt the warmth inside me bubble up, ready to boil over. And yet the walls inside me rose higher. They became a box to contain the giddy feeling that I'm afraid to name, afraid to give power to a force beyond me. Doing that could only hurt me. I remember in Café du Livre when I leaned over and kissed you and you showed me your tattoo. I asked if I could see the rest someday. I felt magic that night and I felt it again when I saw the rest of the tattoo that said, I will always be better than before. I wish I felt like that now, because all I feel now is dumber than before, for letting you slip through my fingers. We kiss silent promises into each other's skin, too afraid to name them. I'll read one more poem here. And I appreciated what Unique was sharing about tears and her lover. What was your name again?
Prince.
Prince?
Yeah.
Prince, yeah. Because I've been crying a lot lately. And, I appreciate your question, or I can't remember, your question, because I've been asking myself the same question, because at first, I really wasn't even able to cry much after, as a young man, as a teenager, and then, would cry every now and then unexpectedly. And then I started to be like, okay, this is good, I should cry more. But then the last few months, I've been crying like every day, and then it got to a point where I was like, when is this good? When is this just gratuitous? And I'm not sure that I have the answer either, but I do think there's a difference between crying from a place of compassion for yourself and crying from a place of sort of self-hate or something like that. So this poem's sort of in that vein. Okay. There is peace in sadness, in the knowing, in the space of temporality, of absence. Sit there, be still, let the gray fog of melancholy envelop you. The future's shapeless and his sister past. Sit here and shiver, in the sadness there is peace. The spirit unclothed again, in communion with the shifting rhythms of the seasons and earth's steady heartbeat.
Thank you for that. Would anybody else like to say a piece? Me? Yay, love me.
Alright, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to practice something that's scary, which is talking to strangers. And I'm just going to speak towards the journals that Unique has. First of all, can we just give an applause for Unique for putting on this? Because being vulnerable is very hard, and this space makes it a little bit easier, because we'll come here intentionally looking for something, maybe to share something. And she shared with me the written bios journals that she has, and I think it's an amazing concept. So I wrote in a few of them, and I encourage you guys to, if you guys have anything to share, or just hit her up one day and be like, hey, can I write in one of those journals? Because as I held on to, I don't know, there's like 6 or 7 of them, different themes. I wanted to write each one of them, but you know, they're deep and they pull a lot out of you, and I didn't want to just like, you know, pull something out of like my butt and you know, I wanted it to be like real and good. And so I held on to them for about a week, and I've been crying a lot too recently. So my tears, I feel them, they're there, and I'm like, but I'm not like, they're not falling and not flowing, and I just will get a little pressure and a little headache, and until they build up so much that I can't really do much about it. And it's not like I'm trying to hold them in, but they just take a little while to come out. And so I was kind of in this like nowhere space, thinking and feeling and trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, where am I gonna go, is it what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll grab the tears one and see where that goes. There's prompts in the journals, kind of a little tidbit about the concept that, or the theme of each one of them, and then a couple prompts, which is really, really helpful. So thank you for those, because what am I gonna write in these really deep journals? But, so I started writing, and you know, I'm thinking I'm doing it for this project, this really, really cool project that she has. But as I finished, I got so much out of it, because I don't really write too much within it. Like, there's an intention, but where I'm going, I don't know where I'm going. And as I was writing in the tears one, which was really interesting, so I'm kind of in this big transition where I am having to leave behind some parts of my old life to go into what I've always been dreaming of, which is super exciting, but also like gut-wrenching and like very sad, because I've built so much and I'm so grateful for where I've been and where I've come from. And as I was writing about tears, I was writing about the tear that I felt between my old life and where I'm headed. Now my old life, it's not going anywhere, it's gonna still come with me, of course. But I never noticed that tear and tears are literally the same word with an S on the end, and I was like, whoa, this is exactly where my tears are coming from. This hole, this tear in my heart that I'm feeling, and as I pondered what my tears do for me, it just helped me to fall deeper into that space, into that tear. And I wondered where the tear was going to take me, what it was going to do, what it was going to bleed out forever. And that's why I asked the question, because I was unsure, like, where do I go from here? And in my writing, I kind of felt like it would scar over. That tear would either stay there, or there would be a scar there that I'll look back on and hopefully feel joy or pride about, and I'm proud of myself, at least, in the way that I moved through it. But I kind of got somewhere with them where I was thinking like, okay, let me just, you know, you're crying and you're just kind of like crying and crying some more. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just let them take me somewhere. And I just imagined myself kind of floating in them. There weren't that many, because like I said, they don't really, I'm an Aquarius, they don't flow too much. But in my version of floating in them, and eventually like you get to that point where you're just like, and there's nothing more in there for you to really cry, and you just...
Sometimes you may not cry because you're used to it over time.
And I am local to the Hartford area, but I'm originally from New York. I think my experiences shaped how I show up in community here, and the work that I've done. The great thing that I've actually been able to accomplish is meeting so many really wonderful people since moving to Connecticut. including Unique and having some really cool experiences and working in wellness practices in Connecticut. Something that people I think tend to not recognize is that wellness is very, it's intersectional, and we tend to look at it as one way. There are so many different ways that you could accomplish your own personal wellness. I say this as a mental health professional. I also say this as someone who is trying to study spirituality and herbalism and be more connected with how to merge those things together. One thing I think is really important to understand is there is this really big emphasis right now, I've noticed in community, on almost commodifying wellness and seeing it as something that needs to be like taught to you, or something that needs to be sold to you. And I don't really believe that. I think as someone who sometimes has a hard time grasping certain concepts, you do need mentors and you need people to show you how to learn things. Like for me right now, I'm learning how to dance. Musicality is really hard for me to like grasp onto for some reason, but I love to dance, I love to move. So you need mentors to like help you and guide you. But you don't need people telling you how to be you and what you already can tap into. So some things like that means we look at certain ways of being well, like being in nature or being spiritual, going to therapy, and we see them really pushed out in our media. It's great that people are being more well, but it also, when you see things more mainstream, it does mean that there's probably a reason that those things are being pushed to you. A lot of people feel removed from those things right now, and it's understandable because our world is very different and kind of hard to move through. But I just kind of want to take this time to remind folks that you don't have to do wellness in the way that it is being presented to you or forced to you. You can do whatever it is that makes you feel well. If that means laying in bed and just looking up at the ceiling for a whole day, then do that. If that means going to therapy because that's been a big thing for you, do that, right? It doesn't always mean like going into a creek somewhere and taking a picture and then posting it. I'm guilty of this, that's why I'm saying it. There's no shade, right? I'm very guilty of this. Instagram warrior, right? But it doesn't always look like that. Your wellness journey is gonna be very indirect. And a lot of times it's gonna be different from what you see on mainstream media. And that's part of my work, is what I'm trying to center in now. I work heavily with folks who have been institutionalized either in the past or currently live with mental health conditions. And what I recognize is that while certain things like meditation and spirituality and being in nature is like wonderful and they are really helpful, everybody can't find wellness in that, at least immediately, right? So I'm really trying to bring to the forefront like other ways of being well. That means, you know, having peer support, having folks talk to you about their experiences, and doing things like this where you're talking to people that you care about and they care about you too. Having people who would ordinarily not be outside of their house or would not talk to people in an intimate way come into these spaces and like kind of have to force themselves to be intimate with other people. Other ways of doing this is I'm trying to bring like nature walks, like something I found out recently is like there's a way that you can walk through nature and be like present. So I'm trying to bring that I've been learning about. Folks learning about herbalism who are on like government assistance, who are looking for like other ways to help themselves and help their mental health. So I just kind of wanted to bring this to say that if you are feeling a little stuck and it feels like everybody knows what they're doing in regards to like being active and being present and walking through the world and moving in a way that is really clear, it's okay to feel like that. You should feel like that in a time like this where it's very confusing to see people every 5 seconds, whether it be social media, in person, whatever, and only be seeing the parts of them that they're willing to show you. Do what makes you feel comfortable, even if it looks weird, and do what makes you feel content, even if it's something that would typically be seen as sorrowful or depressing or whatever it may be. We need those dualities and those ebbs and flows. You can't always be happy. That's something I've always been like really big about. When people are like, are you looking and searching for happiness? It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not searching for happiness, because it's a emotion like all the other emotions you have, and there's going to be times in your life where it is like, it's really big and it's there for a while, and there's times in your life where it's not there at all. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I appreciate y'all listening. I know it was a lot of just all over the place. But if anyone has questions about like community wellness opportunities, ways to be more involved, mutual aid opportunities, interesting random factoids about mental health, I'm here. And again, my name is Anna, so thank y'all for listening to me.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This was a very, 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 very special evening. I appreciate everybody who did a poem. I would like to open the floor a little bit. Would anybody like to just say a little poem, say a little something, close out the evening? We're all good? Okay. You want to say something?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you all so much for being here, for being vulnerable with all of us, and being able to, not only sit in a safe space, but allow somebody else to be able to feel safe enough to be vulnerable. That means a lot to me. A lot of people who came are people who are very important to me, and so the fact that they were able to come and cry and express themselves means the world to me. So yeah, that is it. If anybody has anything else to say, go for it. Other than that, mingle until you want. I got this space until 8 o'clock, so I'll be here if you have any questions too. Okay?
Thank you, Unique.
Love you.
How do you feel? How do you feel, lover?
I feel good, you know what I'm saying? We got tears and tea, you know what I'm saying? We had tears and tea. It's a success, you know what I'm saying? It was a good turnout. It was a vibe. People came, drank their tea. People spoke about things they wouldn't normally speak about in a regular setting. So that's really the energy of it, okay? And the shawty is happy, she's behind the camera, and she's happy. So it's already a success. You know what I'm saying? That's what I can say.
I love you.
You already know what it is, you know what I'm saying? Y'all seen it, we here, you know what I'm saying?
We tired.
We just packed up from the event, and it was a good event. It was successful. We're gonna have these more often. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Y'all look up Tears and Tea online. If y'all in Connecticut, make sure y'all pull up to the next one. And that's all I gotta say. Everything else before this was, was very clear. You know what I'm saying? What you gotta say, Shorty?
I gotta say, this was amazing. This was so refreshing. It didn't play out at all like I thought it was, but it went even better. My heart is full. I love the people who came out and showed out for me and supported each other, like my loved ones loving on each other. It was just was just amazing. So I'm very, very grateful. Super tired, but in a very fulfilling way. And I love my lover, because I would not have been able to do that shit without him. I would have crashed and burned. I will tell you that right now. So thank you.
Of course, my love. This is, there's gonna be many more. We ain't playing with y'all.
Many
We
more.
outside.
And you know, we taking it international too.
Exactly.
Maybe a Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
Tears
it's
and tea?
giving a Puerto
Maybe-
Rico.
Maybe a
Puerto Rico.
Florida.
Yeah, it's
Tears
giving a
and tea?
Florida for
Maybe
sure.
a Jamaica.
Yeah,
Tears and tea?
it's giving. It's
Stay
giving
tuned.
that for sure. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right, people.